What's the worst I hate to break it to you moment you had with someone? One, I had an employee who was a strict vegetarian for religious reasons. One day we were discussing the employee salad bar, and he mentioned how much he loved the Caesar dressing packets they offered. I was surprised and stupidly blurted out, "Oh, I didn't realize you ate fish." He responded that he was vegetarian and gave me a quizzical look. Had to explain that the salad dressing contained both fish and Parmesan cheese, which is almost always cultured with animal rennet. He didn't believe me, and the next day insisted on reading the ingredients on one of the packets to me to prove to me that I was wrong. Then he got to the anchovies and got quiet too. My best friend in high school was humongous and would sweat profusely. We would come in after lunch in Texas and he would smell awful. I think he would wear his clothes without washing them after sweating. We had English after, and the AC sucked, so the teacher put a fan in the window. He would sit in front of the fan and blow his funk over everyone. The class got together and voted that I should be the one to tell him. Well, I had to break it to him that for the last year he has smelled horribly. I felt pretty bad, but he never stunk again. 3. I had to tell my friend that the online girlfriend he'd been talking to for months was actually a scammer using stolen photos. He was planning to send her money to come visit. And breaking the news to him was one of the toughest conversations I've ever had. 4. I had a friend ask me about some green sign in the distance. It was in fact a bright orange sign giving off an intense orange light which sodium vapor is known for. I had to tell him right there that he was colorblind. He was in his mid-30s too. A lot of odd things that had happened in his past fell into place for him that day. 5. I had to tell my mom that my grandma, her mom didn't make it and had been buried a month before. My mom had been in a coma for around 6 weeks during that time. At one point they were actually in the ICU in beds beside each other. Neither ever knew. So, yeah, that sucked 6. I had an old friend that I lived with at the time. He'd been getting obviously catfished for years. Thankfully not monetarily. Just a lonely girl looking for attention over the phone and internet. But he just refused to believe the signs. He claimed to have talked a bunch on the phone and we didn't really believe him. Eventually she asked for money for a ticket, and we were all like, there it is. And he finally believed us. He decided to put it to a test to prove it once and for all, and told her that he'd bought her a ticket for the flight, assuming she'd make up an excuse to get out of it. He didn't really buy the ticket. Well, to his surprise, the day of he got a call from her at the airport panicking because they couldn't find the ticket. He managed to play it off as a mistake and was able to get her on the flight. They dated for 5 years, and she came out every summer for like 5 years before they grew apart. So guess I was wrong, 7. I hate to break it to you. But the hardest moment was telling my best friend that their partner was for the streets. They were so in love and completely blinded by it, and when I broke the news, it shattered their world. It even strained our friendship for a while. Because sometimes, even when you're trying to help, the truth is too painful to accept. An employee confided in me that she contracted the clap and was talking about how she got it from the toilet seat at work because she is monogamous with her husband. I was like, girl, he ain't monogamous with you 9. My wife telling me that she wants a divorce about 30 minutes ago. I sure hope that I will be okay later. It struck me like lightning 10 when my ex tried to make me choose between my dog and him.